everybody, this is Dr. Carmen Bryant. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Those of you that are new to my YouTube channel, thank you so much for joining me and finding something valuable that may apply to your life in your recovery coming out of the relationship. Thank you so much for the email, the inboxes, and letting me know where you've come this far in watching my videos and other videos. I'm not the only one that's talented or knowledgeable about narcissist abuse. My mentor as well. Those of you that have been watching, thank you so much for sharing. I can't get back to everybody. I apologize. I'm one person. I know my limitations. So that leads me right into the video that I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about limitations and boundaries, or boundaries and limitations. And first, allow me to address limitations. So for a lot of you, you come out of families or with caregivers, mothers, fathers, parents, caregivers, elders, whoever, that may have had narcissism or been narcissistic parents. You come from dysfunctional homes where, especially with a narcissist, where they put these expectations on you that are unrealistic, especially as young children. You have these unrealistic expectations, and they look at you as being able to meet their emotional needs, meaning that they're having conversation with kids that do not understand or have life experiences to be able to cater to their level of what their needs are. They put expectations on you. Sorry, you guys, got all this hair in my eye. But they put these expectations on you, and they always move the level of expectation, the standards always get higher and higher. They can't even meet those standards. They can't even meet those expectations. And then if you are talented or gifted, which a lot of you are, every time you meet that mark that they've set, they just move the marker even higher, because now they're jealous because you keep meeting these standards. You keep going beyond them, and they're jealous of you, especially as kids. But a lot of you grow up, and you grow up into believing that, first of all, you have low self-esteem. First of all, you have these unrealistic expectations for yourself, and you believe that I just can't do anything, because you have unrealistic expectations, and you don't know what your limitations are. Even for me, first of all, as a YouTuber, but as a mental health professional, as I said in another video, I have to know what my limitations are. I have to know how much I know and how much I don't know. I don't know everything. No YouTuber that deals with narcissist abuse or a coach has all the answers for you. They have limitations of what their knowledge is. I give you information based off of what I've studied, based off of my experiences, based off of personal experiences and even clinical experiences, and based off of what I know and what I perceive. But some of you have more knowledge than I have dealing with certain aspects of narcissism, believe it or not. And so sometimes it's hard to answer a question. Sometimes I don't know the answer. I'll look it up, or, I'll let you know I don't know. Some of you sent me answers, and I have no idea. I don't know. I would have to study that, and sometimes the answers come, but I know my limitations. When I get to a point where I can't answer the question, I'm like, let me study. And if sometimes I'm just honest enough to say, I really don't know. That's a good question. Some of you have posed questions to me live, and I said, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question, because we have different belief system. We come from different places. We have different cultures. A lot of you have different interests. Some of you guys are into the neuropsychology, into the brain chemistry, into different belief systems in itself. And some of you guys, when you pose a question, the words are so big, sounds like you're speaking Greek to me. I have no clue. I have no idea. And I'll tell you, I'm not ashamed to tell you, I don't know. So for some of you, you guys have to know your limitations. And I say that because I give you an example. Like some of you said that you were nurses in the nursing program, even the medical field. In the nursing program, you go into the nursing program, the education for nursing is a basic nursing education. All nurses get a certain basic nursing education. You have prerequisites, and you have to meet those prerequisites into the nursing and get accepted into the nursing program. So now, the registered nursing, the LPNs, the RNs, whatever. Then you have different branches of the nursing programs, right? So you get an opportunity to get experiences in different areas of the nursing where you want to specialize in. Some of you want to go into psychotropic medications, meaning that you have to get some extra training, extra education dealing with psychotropic meds, because psychotropic meds, which are mental health medications, are different than family medications. They're not just the simple antibiotics and cough syrups and, or aspirins. Then you have those that are, totally, you have to understand the medications. Then you have the pain medications. Then you have the nurses that specializes in geriatrics, which is the elderly. Then you have those nurses that want to deal with OBGYN or maternity. They want to deal with the babies, the baby nurses. Those that want to deal with the pregnant women. You have those that specialize in HIV and AIDS. Preventive medicines, or I don't know what the branch of nursing is. What is it? Not contagious, but whatever it is like it's a certain area of nursing that deals with like disease and disorders like that. Then you have those that deal with cardiology, or OR nurses that are OR nurses specifically, those that are surgical nurses, so there are different branches, but they will tell you as you talk to them, or even in the legal field, you have family law, you have criminal law, you have estate, you have, each of the laws are different. And if you ask them, I heard one of the paralegals say, I'm not familiar with family law because I am a criminal law professional. So I don't understand family law, I understand criminal law. Or I don't understand criminal law, I'm a family law professional. I deal with estates, I deal with wills, So you have to know what your limitations are. And you swallow that pride and you let people know, I know my limitations. I don't know. Even me as a professional, though I'm not a clinical psychologist. I hold a doctor of education in counseling psychology. My professional in the doctoral level is education. That's why it makes it easy for me to teach. Education, counselor, education, teaching counselors, supervision. I deal with on a level maybe of academics, creating curriculums and programs, education. Then I have a master's level and I'm educated in marriage and family. But you guys kind of get the gist of what I'm saying, right? So, I know my limitations. You have to know your limitations. You have to know your limitations, especially coming out of family with narcissists that already think they're perfect. And so it makes you feel deficient somewhere. It makes you feel like that you can't live up to anybody's expectations. You get around people that are talented in particular areas, and then you feel like you are limited because you're not talented in those areas. Well, those are not your areas. Those are not your areas of specialization. Those are not your areas of talent. That's not where you're talented at. That you find your gifting, you find your flow, and you roll with it. Now let's talk about boundaries. Boundaries. Most of you that come out of toxic families, especially with narcissists, and someone I think put a joke on there, why did the narcissist cross the road? It's because they found a boundary and they want to cross the boundary. Get it? That was a good one. But boundaries, they have no boundaries. So if you grew up with like mothers, those daughters that have mothers, or even fathers, they don't give you personal space. Because you belong to them. You are their offspring. You are my property. You belong to me. And so they don't see any boundaries, because what do you mean boundaries? I can come in the room whenever I want to. You belong to me. If you're undressing and there are no boundaries. So a lot of you end up growing up with no boundaries. Inappropriate hugs. You don't know what the hug is supposed to be like. You don't know what your boundaries are even in talking. You don't know what your boundaries are with giving and taking. And so that led me to this on the internet, which is under Site Central, and it's what are personal boundaries and how do I get some? Now that sounds good. Get you some boundaries. And those of you that grew up in households with narcissists know that they don't have boundaries. They take food from you, they eat off. Now, one of the things that most people know about me is I don't like for people to eat off of my plate. Ask me and I give it to you, or I offer, but I don't like for people to eat off my plate. Even family. I don't like people to eat off my plate. I'll offer you food when I want to, but if you ask me, sometimes I'll say no. So some of you even have problems in saying no. And because you came up in a family with narcissists, or you've been in a relationship with narcissists, even no becomes hard. Those are like people that have those codependency problems, you know, because you want to people please. You don't want anybody to be angry with you, so you won't say no. Some of you, when you're dealing with sex, you feel like you owe them something, and so you owe people something, so you pay back with sex. You don't have any boundaries dealing with your body. You know, you don't have any boundaries dealing with your money or your personal possessions. No is one of the hardest things to say because you're afraid people won't like you. No is a hard thing to say because it makes you uncomfortable. And if you notice, when you begin to exercise boundaries and restraint and learn to say no, a lot of times your no comes with a lot of explanation. Well, can I borrow some money? Well, no, because, you know, I have rent coming up, and, you know, last time you borrowed, you didn't pay me back, and I ended up being behind on a bill. If you borrow money from me one time, you don't pay me back, you never have to worry about borrowing money from me again. If I got it to give, I'll give it to you. You ain't gonna have to pay me back. But if I know you borrowed money from me, I ain't got it. I'm sorry, don't have it to give. I can have $1 million. I ain't got it to give to you. I'm sorry. Don't have it. You know, and I had to learn to stop explaining as well. You know, and that's coming out of a relationship like that where the narcissist always wants you to explain yourself. But remember, the narcissist is not wanting you to explain yourself. The narcissist wants to know how you're thinking. They're always in your head somehow. They want to know how you're thinking. They want to know what you're thinking. They want to know whether they have control. I got to have control. So you owe me. You feel obligated to give explanations. You don't have to give an explanation. Let your no be a no, and let your yes be a yes. You don't have to explain nothing. Some of you need to practice that, and you'll find it's very uncomfortable saying no. You feel like you're obligated to explain. Your no makes you uncomfortable. Boundaries make other people uncomfortable. So when you put up boundaries and people can't cross over your boundaries, then you're the abuser. When you put up boundaries, it makes people uncomfortable. And when people say, you know what, you are so offensive. You offended me. Why did you offend them? Because you had boundaries. So people that are dysfunctional, or people that are toxic, or people who are narcissists in general, you hurt them. You deeply wounded me. I'm emotional. You have really abused me and made me feel bad about myself, and no one has ever made me feel bad. Why? Because you put up boundaries. And you probably said no without an explanation, because they bank on the fact you will give me an explanation. And the more I make you explain, the more I can convince you to do it in the first place. No. Put your boundaries up. So here it talks about different types of boundaries. So you have material boundaries, and that determines whether you give or lend things. Okay, who's the article by? Let's make sure we give proper credit. This is by Darlene Lancer, and she's a marriage and family therapist. She also holds a JD, which is a jurisprudence, which is a law degree. And so material boundaries. So this determines whether you give or lend things such as money, car, clothes, books, food, or toothbrush. Who would lend a toothbrush to anybody? Ew, a toothbrush. Keep it. If you're gonna brush your teeth with my toothbrush, you nasty. You don't even need to be at my house. Don't eat nothing on it. You drink. Don't know. You can't drink behind me. Just take the whole bottle. Just take it. But people asking you for food, you say no. Like, what if your money is limited and that's all the food that you have? Now, if you big-hearted, you want to give, and then you hungry, don't be mad later on when you walking around hungry. Don't be mad at everybody around you. You should have said no. Clothes. People want to borrow your clothes. Baby, I don't let people borrow my clothes. I don't know your personal hygiene. I don't know you like that. No, we don't. I don't let people borrow my clothes. Your car. Let me drive your car. Let me borrow your car. No. No. I'm gonna have to explain. Well, why not? Because I said so. Well, you're not giving me an explanation. I don't owe you an explanation. I pay for the car. You see how easy that was? Now, for some of you, that causes anxiety because you're not accustomed to doing that. It takes practice to do that. So some of you have to practice until it becomes natural for you to do it. Don't ask the bar, you gonna teach me how to drive? No. Because you make me nervous just standing around you, so I'm not going to help you, teach you how to drive. Mine is a stick shift. Let me teach me how to drive a stick. No, because I like to be calm. I'm not getting in the car with you. You first go to driver school, but at the same time, you're not going to drive my car. No, and I'm not going to let you borrow my car. Absolutely not. No. You wild. I can tell how you're going to drive the car. No. Let's see. You look irresponsible. No. But you don't have to explain that. No. Physical boundaries pertain to your personal space, privacy, and body. A lot of you who have grown up in homes with toxic parents, narcissistic parents, did not really learn, some of you, not all of you, did not learn good touch, bad touch. and they cross boundaries by physically touching you where you should not have ever been touched, wherever. Wrong type of touch. Men with little girls, or women with little boys, or men with men, and females with females. The wrong touches, inappropriate touches that made you uncomfortable, but you were forced to accept it. So you couldn't really discern when you got older what was right and what was not right. So people give you uncomfortable hugs or touches, and you don't know how to say no or stop because you never learned how to articulate yourself or tell them no. And so, for example, me as a therapist, I do not hug in therapy. I do not. That's a professional. I don't hug in therapy. That is, and people will invade my space from time to time and stand really close in my space. Now, me being the person that I am and being a jokester, I don't joke, but I tell them, why are you that close to me? In the military, there was a nice thing about the military. You have arm length distance. Soldier, why are you standing in my personal space? Me and you are not married. We are not boyfriend, girlfriend. Why are you in my personal space? This is my personal space. Why are you in my personal space? We're not family. Get out of my personal space and back up. It was easy for me to say that in the military because so it became easier to do that when people were around me. Why are you talking this close to my face? See, I'll look at you and stop talking. Why are you that close to my face? Why are you talking to me? Some of you, like I said, you have to learn how to use your language. That's my language. You have to learn how to use your language to get people out of your if it's uncomfortable. Some of you are afraid to speak up because you were never given the right to speak up. You were never given the right to say that this is my personal space because your parents were in your personal space. Back up. Some people don't like to be touched, and some people do want to touch, and some people, you too touchy. Stop touching me. When you talk, and stop touching me. Ask for permission to touch me. You talk to your children and you tell your children, even with mama and daddy, or even with mom, whatever, when people tell them, ask for permission to touch me, and then you will probably offend some people when you say, I don't like to be touched. Please don't touch me. So you teach your kids. People need to ask for permission to touch you. And if you don't want them to touch you, let them know, hey, I don't like being touched. Please don't touch me. What do you mean you don't like to be touched? What, you don't like hugs and stuff? Really, I don't. Not from you. I don't want no hug from you. Not with that attitude. No. But do you see how people can bully you when you offend someone because you put them in their place? People may bully you into making you do what they want you to do. Don't touch me. If you touch me again, I'll push you down. Stop it. Quit touching me. No, I'm not telling you guys to be like that. But some of you are afraid to say that causes anxiety because you were never given the opportunity to express yourself as a child. You were never. And so in therapy, I teach that because in therapy, we as therapists, those that are therapists are also teachers. And we model how to conduct yourself, how appropriate conversations go, how appropriate, I shake your hand, but please don't hug me. Or people like, I hug, I'm just a hugger. I just hug. Well, I don't hug, because I'm a professional. I kind of keep my boundaries when it comes to hugging. I don't hug. And some people get their feelings hurt, and some people, you can see in their face, their feelings get hurt, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I'm just trying to teach you appropriate, when people, there's no reason for you to get your feelings hurt. They just don't like to hug. And if you don't like to hug, you just say so. Don't hug. And you notice some people, if you do hug, some people do the church hug, that distant hug, and then some people, they because they have no boundaries, they do that full on face hug. You're like, you're too close, too much body contact, you see? And I don't know why I had to stay on there. Somebody need to hear that. Do you give handshake or hug to whom and when? How do you feel about loud music, nudity, locked doors? Some people are very offensive. Some people have conversations that are offensive conversations, and some people, that's in the military and even in government agency, a lot of government agencies, that's what equal opportunity, equal employment opportunity they teach you. That speaking, sexual conversations that make other people feel uncomfortable is also sexual harassment. Having sexual conversations or the type of the type of jokes that they tell, sexual jokes, or having nude pictures up, that may be offensive for some people, or a lot of profanity. There are people that are when they speak, they're very profane. They curse all the time. And for sometimes I'm like, hey, I understand that that's how you talk, but could you, when you're talking to me, can you refrain from all that perverse or cursing or profanity. I really can't focus on what you're saying because I'm focusing on the profanity. Could you just kind of tone it down a little bit? And we teach that in counseling as well. Can you tone it down a little bit, please, for me? And no, that's just how I am. Okay, well then maybe me and you don't need to have, you and I, for those proper people, you and I don't need to have a conversation then. It's going to invoke anxiety when you have been afraid for so long to express yourself. And so for some of you, it will, you will feel anxiety. You will feel some fear. But you have to think, I'm feeling fear about placing boundaries and stipulations and limitations to how people how people handle me. You're not going to handle me any kind of way. You're not going to talk to me any kind of way. When clients decide that they're going to cuss me out, that's the last time they have a conversation with me. And I'm a therapist. It's the last time you have any. When you get to a point where you got to cuss me out, then there is no such thing as, let's work this out. No, we're going to work this out, and I'm going to refer you to some. I'm going to give you some other referrals and resources. And, it was a pleasure working with you. It was a pleasure working with you, and I'm glad that I could assist you up until this point, but I'm going to find someone else that may be able to assist you better, or may give you better services or provide you with, better care. And so I'm going to just give you some references so that you can go and seek other care. And I'm sorry it just didn't work out between us, No, you will be my counselor. That's a very awkward quiet, isn't it, on camera? Some of you guys keep going, huh? See how awkward you feel? That's how awkward they feel with me. So moving on. Mental boundaries apply to your thoughts, values, and opinions. What do you value? What is your opinion? Just because you and I do not have the same opinions or value the same thing doesn't mean that your opinion or your value overrides mine. Respect mine and I'll respect yours. Are you easily suggestible? So are you easily manipulated? So is it easy to manipulate you? And for some of you, it's pretty easy for them when you say no or when you have opinions, or it's easy for them to change your mind. That's what you have to lock down into. That's your boundary. You lock into that boundary. Do you know what you believe, and can you hold on to your opinions? Can you listen with an open mind to someone else's opinion without becoming rigid or argumentative or argumentative or judgmental? If you become highly emotional, argumentative, or defensive, you may have weak emotional boundaries. That is their opinion. That is their opinion, and mine is my opinion. We can talk about it. We can kind of compromise and see. And when hey, we just have to agree to disagree. That's what makes us, makes us adults. Emotional boundaries, distinguished, separating your emotions and responsibility from them, Distinguish separating your emotions and responsibility for them from someone else's. It's like an imaginary line or force field that separates you and others. Healthy boundaries prevent you from giving advice when no one wants your advice. Nobody asks you for your advice. So don't give me your advice unless I ask you for your advice. Some people just want to have a conversation. Some people just need to talk and vent. That doesn't mean, and then you're dealing with narcissistic relationships or parents, they impose their views on you. They give you advice when you didn't ask for advice. They're giving you suggestions. I didn't ask for your advice. Well, I'm just giving you advice. I'm just trying to tell you, I'm trying to help you out. You ain't helping me. I didn't ask you for advice. You keep that to yourself. Let's look. Healthy boundaries also help you from blaming or accepting blame. They protect you from feeling guilty from someone else's negative feelings or problems and taking others' comments personally. You can't take everybody's comments personally. You can't take everybody's opinion personally. This is your opinion, not my opinion. And you're not going to superimpose your opinion on me. That's how you think. I don't think like that. Highly reactivity suggests weak emotional boundaries. Healthy emotional boundaries require clear internal boundaries, knowing your feelings and your responsibilities to yourself and others. So when people tell you, this is how you think, that's how you think, you always like that. No, that's your opinion, not mine. Well, that's how you act. No, I have boundaries. And so I'm not going to allow you to cross over my boundaries. See, that's what I'm talking about. You're always, that general statement, you're always doing. You think like that. How you read in my mind? How do you know what I'm thinking? Boundaries. And you don't have to argue. Why am I going to argue over the fact that my first name is Carmen? I know what my birth certificate says. I'm not going to argue with you over your opinion. Oh, that's your opinion. Your name is not really Carmen. All right. Why am I going to argue with a fool? You guys have dealt with narcissist abuse for a long time. Some of you for a long time. And you're just now realizing that as intelligent as they sound, as big as their vocabulary is, as successful as they look, now you're stepping back and looking at your situation and you're thinking, this individual was a fool. Why did I waste my time arguing with a fool? And you waste a lot of time, a lot of energy explaining yourself when your no is a no, your yes is a yes, the light is green, I don't have to explain myself, you smart, all right, go through the red light, that's on you. You know, you get a ticket, don't turn around and look at me, that's on you. You made that decision. And they don't take accountability, so you know you should have told me. No, that's your responsibility. But some of you have wasted so much time arguing with a fool. Now when you look back at your relationship, you realize I was married to, I was dating, I was friends with, my parents, my caregivers, my family members were fools. Now, not all of them. Now, don't go around talking about they're fools. Dr. Carmen said you're a fool. Oh, don't put my name out there. If they were, but you argued. Why lower your standards to argue with a fool? You got to have emotional boundaries. You have to know you. That's why I say you have to get to know who you are. You have to get to know, what you like. You have to get to know what are your values? What are your boundaries? What do you enjoy? What do you not enjoy? What is acceptable? What is not acceptable? Where are my boundaries at? Those are my boundaries. These are my values. You see? You got to know who you are. You got to get to know yourself, but you got to get to love yourself as well. When you love yourself, it doesn't matter whether people like you or not. I don't care. Oh well, it is what it is. Sexual boundaries. Protect your comfort level with sexual touch and activity. What, where, when, and with whom. A lot of you who I have had the opportunity to read your posts, read your emails, were raped. I did a video a long time ago. I did a video, and I think it's in 50 states, not in all. Is it all 50 states or 49 states? But it is illegal to rape your spouse. And so someone asked, is it legal to, is it a law where you can just force sex on your wife and now it's husband, wife, husband, wife? That is rape. When you force yourself, it doesn't matter what relationship you're on, but when you take something that was not offered to you, that is not a mutual agreement, and you just decide you're going to take it because you think it's yours, or you're married to me, so you're mine, and that's my property. And then you do have those that they're within the religious arena. The Bible does say that your body is no longer yours. However, it never said, so take it. It did not say, so take it. This is a mutual agreement, so you don't just take nothing. That's rape. And there's nowhere that it says you're supposed to be raped. It's a mutual agreement. So if you say no, it's still no. Whether in your belief system is right or not, you just don't come and take nothing. We make an agreement that we're going to do this. You see what I mean? Even the sexual touch. You're in public and you're squeezing my breast, or you're pinching my butt. I'm uncomfortable with that. Please stop doing that. And this is in a relationship. I know that was too much for some people. Oh my gosh, she said breastises. I know, I said breastises. Let me see. What else? They protect you. Okay, so sexual touch, activity, when, where, with whom. You have the right to say no. If someone takes you out to dinner and you get you a $4.99, $2.99 Happy Meal, you don't owe them sex. That is precious. Male and female alike, that is precious. You don't owe nobody no sex. I don't care if they do take you to an expensive restaurant. You don't pay them with sex. You don't feel obligated to pay somebody with sex. Don't you do that. I'd headbutt you if I could. Spiritual boundaries relate to your beliefs and experiences in connection with God or a higher power. No one has the right to force you into believing anything. That's your right to believe how you want to believe. There is such thing as religious freedom. So whatever your spiritual belief is, whatever your religious belief is, and dealing with a narcissist, they'll take your religious belief, your spiritual belief, and they'll find the loopholes in there to use it against you, to use it as a power and control thing, to throw it in your face. You have the right to believe how you want to believe. No one has the right to force it and use it against you. And a lot of times religion and spiritual belief is used as a power and control, a weapon of power and control. But you have the right to believe the way you want to believe. So let's see. Is that it? So you have rights. Anger is often a signal that action is required. If you feel resentful or victimized and are blaming someone or something, it might mean that you haven't been setting boundaries. If you feel anxious or guilty about setting boundaries, remember your relationship suffers when you're unhappy. Once you get practice setting boundaries, you feel empowered and suffer less anxiety, resentment, and guilt. Generally, you receive more respect from others and your relationships improve. So there are some people that want to cross your boundaries that will leave your life. They need to go. Let them go. Let's see what else. So remember, it takes practice, especially when your boundaries and you don't know your limitations. You know, you don't know that you're one individual. You are limited. You are a limited resource. You're one individual. You're not supposed to know everything. So they made you feel like because you don't know everything, you know, Dr. Carmen, what is the sand like on the moon? Chad, I don't know. I ain't never been to the moon. I'm not an astronaut. See, you don't know. What kind of doctor's degree do you have? Do you see how you argue with foolishness? Why are you arguing with foolishness? Or now, it took me to have to hire a statistician and a editor to do my dissertation. Just because I have a doctor's degree doesn't mean that I professionally know how to write. I know how to put my thoughts down. Even with my book, I had to pay a professional editor to make me look smart. I know what I was trying to say, you know. Okay, so I was smart. I am smart. There we go. I'm actively smart, you know, and I'm sharp. But at the same time, it took an editor to make sure I sounded that way when I wrote the book, you know. So I know my limitations. I don't have a doctor's degree in English and writing. You know, I have a doctor's degree. I know I can give you the thoughts, but it's going to take someone. So I know my limitations. Know your limitations. Know that just because you don't know something doesn't mean that you're dumb or that you're uneducated or that you're ignorant. That's how the narcissist played you, you know, and make sure you set effective boundaries. It's going to take time. You're going to be anxious, you know, but move past the anxiousness. Embrace it. And know that you're doing something to better yourself, to improve yourself, and then eventually it'll come natural to you. So hopefully this has helped you today. We were talking about limitations and boundaries. Hopefully this has helped you, made you smile. You know, I hadn't seen you guys since yesterday, or I haven't talked to you guys since yesterday because I was kind of busy. And so I'm back, and I just wanted to make you smile, but I also wanted to emphasize limitations and boundaries. I wanted to make sure you guys know that you're perfectly normal. It's perfectly normal not to know. You ask me a question, I'll be like, child, I don't know. You know, I'll let you know. I don't know. And if you say what kind of degree you have, I'll pull out my whole thermometer and show you. And I still don't know. I don't know. You know, so you guys have to get into that mindset. I don't know everything. The narcissist makes you feel like you're supposed to know stuff that they knew that you didn't know. I don't know, and I don't care. You know, that's not my interest. I don't care. So I don't study that. I don't know. You have to be comfortable with that, okay? So hopefully that's helped you. Thank you guys for subscribing. If you have not subscribed, please join me. I am Dr. Carmen Bryant. This is my channel, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. You'll find that this is a very supportive tribe. I love this tribe. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys are great. Let me add this in here too. You got to know your boundaries, especially dealing with people, and you're not comfortable with dealing with people. And one of the things that I just had a discussion with is that just like people will love you, you're the most. That's how the narcissist, just as much as they loved you, is just as quick as just how passionate they are about hating you. For those of you that are starting YouTube channels, for those of you that are going into coaching, because people tell you how much they love you, and you guys do it, and I love you guys back. But just because people tell you how much they love you, how great you are, oh my gosh, you walk across water, you're the angel, you got, you know, skittle rainbows coming out both of your ears when you open up your mouth, oh, the angels are singing, you're floating on Clyde now. Do something. Do something to make them upset. Set a boundary when you meet somebody. Say something to them that you don't like. Don't pick up the phone. You know, don't email someone back. And watch, just how passionate they were about liking you is just how much they hate you. And so I take the compliments. I appreciate you guys for the compliments, but I have boundaries, I have limitations, and I know for a fact humans are going to be humans. So for those of you that are starting your challenge, you got to be ready. Don't get all sucked up into the compliments and how wonderful and how beautiful you are and everything, because as soon as you make someone mad, you're going to find out how they really feel. I'm not saying that's for all of you guys, but I'm saying you're going to find out how people really are. So don't get caught up in the compliments. Don't get caught up. You got to have limitations. You got to understand limitations. You got to understand boundaries. You got to understand human behavior and the human mindset. So don't get caught up on just make videos just because people are telling you how wonderful and great you are. Because let you do something or say something that they don't like. You'd be the worst coach. I knew she was a narcissist. I knew he was crazy. He's a psychopath. And there's nothing wrong with you. You just made him mad. That's all. Just as quick. And it's happened to me before. I've had people send me angry emails. What did I do? I knew my boundaries. I deleted. I got the delete finger. Y'all remember that, okay? So join me. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you know whenever I upload videos. I come on live on Sundays between 8 and 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which is on the West Coast time. I didn't come this weekend because I was busy, but also join me on my Facebook page. I have my professional Facebook page, which is Psychological Health Consultants and Services. I also have my coaching one that has my book on it, which is Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. And hit the thumbs up, give me a like. I do post on all 3 channels. I thank you guys so much for your support. You guys are an awesome group. I love talking to you guys. I thank you and I appreciate you guys. If you have not already, make sure you go to Barnes & Noble or Amazon and order my book, Unmasking the Illusion of Perfection. It's a nominal fee. You can get it on ebook or you can download it on your Kindle, which is a little cheaper than the book. The book is only $12.99. I think Kindle is like $9.99, which is cheap. And get the book. It's an awesome book. I think it's an awesome book. You guys said it was an awesome book. It's an experience. This right here lets you know you're not crazy, because these are real people giving real experiences about what they went through, how they were groomed, how they were raised by a narcissistic parent or parents, narcissism within the family, how they handled their kids, what they were thinking when they did, business women that were in there, how they talked to their little boys, why, angry women talking to boys, talking to their sons, talking crazy, how wives handled the husbands. Now, a lot of it does have more like the female experience, but it also, kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Talks about how women are talking to men and how I saw them treat their husbands. Also, but these are real people, business women, what they were thinking, how embarrassed they were over what they went through, how they hid the shame, Get the book. You'll find yourself in it. It's a quick read, easy read. It is a Christian book, so I do give encouragement based off of a Christian perspective. And those of you that are not believers, that are not Christian, take the principles out of there. I guarantee you, you will find yourself. Share it with the teenagers. Share it with people. You don't know who's going through this. Your teenagers are going through this. Some of the teenagers are already experiencing that. And in there, it actually talked about the teenagers. There were some teenagers in there that went through it and didn't know what they were going through. And they were young teens, like 16, 17 years old, when they started experiencing narcissist abuse. So share the book, buy the book. And thank you guys so much for your support. And go be great.